While voting organizations recognize that lawmakers and election boards across the DMV have passed laws and made big adjustments to make it easier for people to vote during this election, there are still some things you need to look out for. Let's start with what voter suppression is. It's an effort, legal or illegal, that would prevent an eligible voter from registering to vote or voting. Voter suppression has historically targeted minority communities, people of color, low-income or homeless people, the elderly, and college students. This is Bob Brandon with the Fair Election Center based right here in D.C.
We have a whole history in this country. After all, we were founded on a notion of voting, but only for white property owners. And then after the Civil War and the 13th Amendment was enacted to give the blacks the right to vote. And of course, they've had many struggles even with that right. Women didn't get the right to vote until the 19th Amendment passed. And young people under 21 didn't get the right to vote until the 26th Amendment passed.
And he says suppression can come in many forms, such as strict photo ID requirements, reduced early voting and voting hours, fewer voting locations, and issues like having to have a witness or a notary for absentee ballots. Brandon says the best thing you can do is to educate yourself on the rules before voting or registering to vote.
You should check your registration. You should know what you need to vote if there is an ID requirement, what are the hours, and then if you're going to vote by mail in particular, really read the instructions. The other thing is keep track of your ballot if you mail it. Most jurisdictions will allow you to track it.
And if you run into any issues with voter suppression or believe that you may have been a victim of voter intimidation, Brandon says don't let that discourage you from voting. You should alert your election officials at the polls about what's going on or call the Voter Protection Hotline at 866-OUR-VOTE. Reporting in Washington with the Voter Access Team, I'm Michael Quander, WUSA9.